Howdy. On Saturday, I think it was October 19th, I got this phone from Verizon in Port Huron, Michigan. Gave them back my smartphone. I just don't like, dealing with those tiny screens. I prefer a high-speed internet on my laptop. So I'm gonna use a basic phone, and I also bought a mobile Wi-Fi spot, one for Canada, one for US. So I'm gonna, enjoy the big real estate of my laptop, so to speak. Anyway, but this one is unlocked. I took it out of the Verizon store. I made them unlock this phone because I've been with Verizon for quite a few years, so I didn't have to wait. They did it right there, and I told them, hey, I'm gonna get the Canadian plan, so let's switch to this US only plan. So they switched me to a 700-minute plan, which costs about $40. So no roaming, no long distance anywhere in US. Voicemail and caller ID are included. Sorry. And then I come to Canada. I cross the border. Of course, the phone still works, but now it's roaming at like 69 cents per minute. And I went to a couple of local companies here, trying to get a local number so that I have two numbers on the phone. And I still haven't been able to hook up a Canadian service here. I'm still using Verizon. Basically what happened is that I found out that this phone, it does not support the modern variation of the GSM. Like all the companies here, they use kind of the new generation of which is called like HSPA Plus, kind of like the same thing as AT&T uses. And this phone supports 4 bands on a GSM network, but they're like basic bands. I think it's 2 are for Europe and that part of the world, and then 2 are for Northern America. And I went to Bell, tried their SIM card, doesn't work. I went to Telus, another Canadian provider. We tried their SIM card, doesn't work. The only 2 companies in Canada that can support this phone, Rogers and Fido, and actually they have a pretty good coverage. It's everywhere, and of course this is just a voice phone, so you don't need a 3G or 4G network. But Rogers, their plans are too expensive because in Canada they still charge long distance, and if you don't want long distance, if you wanna be able to use your phone anywhere in Canada, for example, it comes up to like $80, and you still have like 500 minutes, which is ridiculous if you compare that to Verizon. So the only company, I stress that provides more or less competitive rates, comparable to what the American driver would pay in the States, is Fido. Fido, F-I-D-O. Their network is the same as Rogers because these are 2 companies that are related. So basically Rogers created Fido for young consumers, like students mostly, but then the network kind of, at first it was just separate only for cities and towns, but then they just switched, so it's the same network now. Only Fido, with the Fido service, you can get unlimited calling anywhere in Canada, unlimited incoming calls, outgoing messages, incoming text messages, all for $50. But I'm talking about a basic phone, just voice, right? And the only thing is they don't give you voicemail and caller ID, so you have to pay, I think, like $11. So basically it's $60, but still it's better than 80. So for $60 you get a great service anywhere in Canada. Like if I ever go to, let's say, Western Canada, Saskatchewan, Alberta, I can use a Canadian number. The only problem is that I put a fraud alert on my account because a couple of years ago some idiot tried to get a credit card in my name somewhere, right? And I got a call from a bank in Alberta asking me if I applied for a visa. I said, well, I didn't. So they advised me to put a kind of like a red flag on my credit file. So that stopped that. But now I find that having that alert on the credit file makes it very hard to get any kind of credit. So it's kind of, you shoot yourself in the foot when you put that kind of thing in your credit file. And so this Fido it's been like 3 days since I applied. they're still looking. They're still checking my credit. You know, I just bought a car. I mean, traded cars, right? I just got Bell. I got this mobile Wi-Fi from Bell. Open new account, no problem. But Fido, because they're in Quebec, like their main headquarters is in Quebec, you know, like Montreal, Quebec, Canada. These guys are so slow, and I had no service. I was paying 65 cents per minute, right? So I just called Verizon from a payphone, and I said, guys, I'm sorry, I cannot seem to be able to activate Canadian service. I want to get back what I had before. So so I'm not using any SIM cards for now. I just, you know, switch back to the same great plan I had before, which is $79, and you get 900 minutes anywhere in Canada, anywhere in US. All calls are local, no long distance, no roaming, and voicemail is included, call display is included. So the only drawback is that you have to use a US area code. And now, you know, after all my turmoil with all these Fido and Rogers, I said, screw this. I'm gonna keep a US number. The main thing I wanted was to have mobile internet in the truck, and I achieved that. So now I have a mobile Wi-Fi spot device from Verizon and a similar device from Bell for Canada, and with a very liberal amount of data. So I'll always have data on my computer. But there you go. So, you know, when they're telling you that the phone is global, make sure that this phone supports the contemporary frequencies, because like I was mentioning before, this phone only works on GSM. So all of a sudden, instead of 6 options in terms of companies, you now have only 2, and one is too expensive, the other one takes too long to respond to your consumer request, so to speak, for a line, you know. So basically, I'm just saying that these so-called global phones are a bit overrated, but I'm still glad that I got this phone. It's really durable, it's very loud. I was making calls just to test how it works, and the reception and the call quality is excellent. Oh, someone is calling. Excuse me. Thanks for watching. Hello, Sergey.